And I say to you, good morning. This is the day the Lord hath made. Whatever we conceive our Lord to be, whatever name we put on our higher power, God, Father, Mother, Yahweh, Jehovah, it matters not, but to acknowledge on this morning that there is something so powerful within each of us, and we have the opportunity to access it. In fact, Fleet, why don't we move this kind of behind here? So we have our beautiful Claudia joining us and our amazing Dr. Barbara Berg. Yeah, that's just perfect. Absolutely. And I just want to acknowledge that Fleet, and I love that song, that Karen Carpenter song. It's so beautiful. We've only just begun, and we have. And Fleet just got back from Las Vegas, participating in a wonderful tribute to Trini Lopez, right? Who had made his transition during the COVID-19 era. And all of this transcendence that went on during COVID, I believe, that allows us to really take stock, go within, and realize it's about unconditional love, that energy is neither destroyed nor created. So they're doing this beautiful, beautiful recording in memory of Trini Lopez. And I just loved what you did. I thought it was absolutely wonderful. And we are just so blessed to see your unfoldment and the almost, 14 years that you've been with Interfaith. Someone calling the flavor of the week, and that was 14 years ago. So he's still here, right? And evolving and growing beautifully. So I absolutely, every July, we do the Evolution Revolution, which was founded by Dr. Neil Donald Walsh. Neil was actually in my congregation in San Diego. He was a ghostwriter for many famous authors that are on the planet today and actually reached the New York Times bestsellers list. And he was assisting me with my book. And it just didn't work, And so I just said, Neil, why don't you start writing your own books? And then he moved to Oregon, and he had a series of outrageous things happen. He broke his neck. He found himself homeless. He was living in a park for a year. And during that year, he took out a notebook and a pen, and he wrote Conversations with God. Now, he's written like 30 books since, and he's been on the New York Times bestsellers list many times. This is his own work. So he came up with, when we reach a certain level of energy and at the top of our game, it's really time to give something back. So Neil decided to start Humanity's Team, which is a grassroots organization about civil rights for the soul. Don't we love that? Civil rights for the soul, and a movement of being conscious of justice, equality, and oneness. And when Claudia read so beautifully the Oneness Declaration, we invite you to go on to the Oneness Declaration. Just Google it. You can just put your name in and add it to the millions of others who are acknowledging that the moment of choice is here. This is our topic for today. The moment of choice is here. We are all part of Humanity's Team. And as I shared earlier, that the blood that courses through my veins is the same color of the blood that courses through your veins. That we are one, regardless of color, race, creed, sexual orientation, and I added political affiliation. That this transcends all of that and comes into a spiritual reality. It's not about religion. It's about a spiritual ground of being. It's about a social consciousness that we, someone said, am I my brother's keeper, right? It's very biblical. Well, on one level, yes. But on another level, am I my brother's keeper? Am I my sister's keeper? The truth is, I am my brother. I am my sister. And that oneness connects us at the heart level. And when I was in Geneva, Switzerland, meeting with the Honorable Carol Hanshin, who is the president of the United Nations European sector. You know that I am the president of the International Foundation for World Peace and Research. And I was part of the Nobel Peace Prize Commission, nominated the Reverend Father Emmanuel Ida, an African priest who founded 3 universities. He founded the Peace and Reconciliation Center. He founded 5 manufacturing companies where the unemployed were suddenly gainfully employed. This man is amazing, a Catholic priest. And when I was presenting in Oxford, England at St. Catherine's University, and I spoke on world peace, he came up to me afterward. He said, "We have the same message." I said, "Wonderful." He said, "I want you to come to Nigeria, in Africa." I said, "Fabulous, I'd love to. In 8 weeks." All right, we're going to work this one out, right? And I went for over 10 years, sometimes twice a year, to present to 25,000 students and faculty. And they absolutely absorbed and were hungry for this message of oneness, and that we are created in the image and likeness of something so powerful and so beautiful. And that we're told that it's not only good, it's what? It's very good. This is our true self-image, that we are created in the image and likeness of something so powerful, so beautiful, that it's a presence within each of us that connects, and we can feel that divine connection. And so on this day, as we look at the moment of choice as ours, and being part of humanity's team, that we're all so interconnected. And I was driving home one day, and up the road, and I saw a canopy, and I saw a great big sign. It was 114 degrees. It's triple digits up here. And I saw the canopy, and I saw the sign that said, "Honey for sale." So I just thought, you know, here's the darling couple. They have their canopy. They have their sign, "Honey for sale, the sweetness of life." I pulled in, I thought, anybody who sets up a little kiosk in the dirt on the corner with a canopy selling honey, I'm going to connect with them. So I met Edgar and Lucia, and I said, "You've got a smile on your face. It's 114 degrees out here. What's your secret?" And he said, "I love the bees. The bees love me." And he said, "And they give me the honey." And I said, "Yes, they give you the sweetness of life." I said, "This is the greatest combination of life, to love what you do and do what you love." And as we open the space and out in 114 degrees, I mean, talk about an entrepreneurial spirit, right? And his wife, Lucia, was just precious. And they make this amazing honey in beautiful jars with a little touch of rosemary leaf in it. And I said, "I am always going to buy my honey from you. I feel the sweetness of your energy. And I know that with every dollop of honey, that I am receiving that energy, that sweetness. I am receiving your love of what you do and doing what you love." And I thought, here in our humanity, it is amazing what the human spirit not only endures, but how it arises to the occasion of its true spiritual stature. And he, you know, here he is, Edgar. "I love the bees, and the bees love me." And that honey is just the best honey on the planet. So as I look at life and the connection of our humanity and the opportunity that we have to be in the world to make a difference. We're not here just to make a living. We're here to make a difference. And I don't care what it is that we're doing, that if we do it with love, and they were told biblically that they that abideth in love abideth in God and God in them. That whatever we conceive our higher power to be, whatever name we put on it, it matters not, but to acknowledge that which is within us is greater than that which resides in the world of conditions that show up, and we give our power away to these conditions, these appearances, these effects that show up. We are so powerful. In fact, I saw a beautiful, beautiful statement, and it said, "There is no other me. That is my power. There is no other me. That is my power. The power to be ourselves, to be in the world, but of a higher spiritual vibratory frequency. And it transcends religion, and it moves into the spiritual ground of being, into our spiritual citizenship. That this is a human rights movement for the soul, to connect to humanity's team. Now, Yo-Yo Ma, who is a very famous cellist, we all know Yo-Yo, he's won hundreds of awards, and he was part of a project in Chicago. There was a vacant lot for 150 years with weeds and, all kinds of things kind of went on in this vacant lot on the west side of Chicago. And the mayor decided that it's time to do something about this old vacant lot. So she gathered the humanity around her. She gathered the beautiful souls around her. And they said, let's make a park. Let's create a park here so the children could run and play. And so they did the fundraiser, and Yo-Yo Ma planted trees. In fact, when I was in India presenting at the Pongal Festival in South India, Dr. Natarajan, who had been my friend for 15 years, and everywhere I went on the planet, whether I was speaking in Cambridge, England, whether I was speaking in Nigeria, Africa, whether I was speaking in Zagreb University in Croatia, whether I was speaking in Istanbul at the medical center in Turkey, Dr. Natarajan was always there. And for 15 years, he was inviting me to India to come and speak. And I could never just quite work it out, even though I've always, had always wanted to go to India. Finally, in 2016, I worked it out where I could go. And I was the keynote speaker, and I was speaking to 10,000 beautiful souls. And when I said Namaste, and they came back, 10,000 people, and they said Namaste, it was tear-evoking. The energy, the resonance, my heart opening, I was just like overcome. And I spoke on the circle of life. And the circle of life, ride the carousel, reach for the golden ring, never to finish, only to begin again. Life is a circular thing. And Emerson said so beautifully that life is a self-evolving circle, moving out in ever-widening circles toward infinity. So life is circular, and that God is the center of everything, the circumference of nothing, everywhere present. So one of the things that we did is that we went out and there was a tree planting, just as Yo-Yo Ma was planting trees in Chicago's vacant lot, and they were creating a park. And Yo-Yo is a lot more evolved than me, because when I was asked to, Dr. Natarajan said, now, Dr. Sharron, you just put your hands in the dirt and create the opening for the roots of the tree. And I looked down at my manicure, and I looked at the dirt, and I said, you know what? Why don't you put your hands in the dirt and I'll support you? He said, what does that mean? And I said, it means that you put your hands in the dirt, you dig the hole, I'll support you. I'm looking at my manicure. And he said, oh, all right. He hands me the water pitcher. He says, I will dig the hole and I will cover the roots. You water it. You can be part of this process of planting a tree in India. So that's what we did. And I thought, here, Yo-Yo is planting trees in the west side of Chicago. And they planted flowers, and they, created a lawn and swings for the children. And the energy was so uplifting in this park. And then the Chicago Police Department took all the guns that they had collected, the illegal guns, melted them down, and created shovels so they could shovel the earth in this amazing vacant lot that they created, Unity Park. And it so reminded me of Isaiah, the beautiful statement in Isaiah, where they transform their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not rise up against nation, and there is no war evermore. So they took the guns, melted them down. And just as in the day of Isaiah, where the swords were transformed to plowshares and the spears were transformed to pruning hooks. Nation shall not rise up against nation, and there shall not be war evermore. And they created Unity Park on the west side of Chicago. And I was just so deeply moved by that. Talk about humanity's team, that you see an empty lot. It's been sitting there for 150 years, and suddenly it's transformed when you get the humanity around you that is in synchronicity with the divine plan. And let's create something beautiful. Let's create something so magnificent that we can smell the flowers. Children can run on the grass and they can swing high in the air and feel that energy, the breezes flowing through their hair. That we are humanity's team. That the sweetness of life looks like Edgar and Lucia on a corner with a little canopy in 114-degree weather, selling the sweetness of life. And it's the sweetness of life. It's that promised land of milk and honey that allows us to be in the world, but of a higher spiritual vibratory frequency. I've been on the planet quite a while. I've been in the ministry 46 years, and I have seen some amazing things. I've borne witness to some amazing miracles on the planet. That I entered into this way of life coming from domestic violence, realizing I had a choice. This morning's topic, the moment of choice, is here. And what we know is that nothing is so resisted as change. But change is the only permanent thing in life. And my dear friend Nan Shelley, who I went through the School of Ministry with, she said, everything I ever let go of, I left claw marks. I just didn't want to let go. And finally, we let go and let God do what God does best by means of each and every one of us who hear the call and answer. Before they call, I will answer. And while they're yet speaking, I will hear. Blessed are they who have ears that hear, who have eyes that see, that have eyes that see through the appearances that show up, the effects that show up, that the amazing, as these things show up in our life, that we can see through them to the truth of our own being. We are humanity's team. We are one, regardless of color, race, creed, sexual orientation. That oneness pervades an energy field. And if we have situations that come up, and I had mentioned to you prior that I had a couple of situations come up of taping in the beauty of my own Rose of Sharon sanctuary. I had some things come up in the park with the board of trustees. And what I love about life is that 4 days after I received a cease and desist order about taping in my home, the privacy of my own home, the Supreme Court passed a ruling that ministries may meet in homes. This is how the law of life works. And if we work it, you know what? We are supported. It works to the degree that we work it. We put the works with the faith. We put action with intention. Because, I'm a child of the 60s, and we were making love, not war. And of course, the pendulum swings, back to center, where we can make a difference. We're here to make a difference. Ride the carousel. Reach for the golden ring, never to finish, only to begin again. Life is a circular thing. May we all have the sweetness of life. May we all open the space to recreate a vacant lot into a Unity Park, and to recognize that there is always something that we can do to forward and advance civilization as a whole. So I greet you today, and I acknowledge that we're all going somewhere. Where is it? Higher yet. Where is it? Higher yet. Where is it? Higher yet. Because I am in a high place, and I will not come down. None of these outer things move me. I am in a high place, and I will not come down. And I say to you, Namaste. The God in me salutes the God in you. The divinity within you salutes the divinity within me. And if I am in that place in me and you are in that place in you, there is only one of us. Namaste. I say shalom, the peace that passes all understanding. And God bless us, every single one. And so it is. I love you. It's a joy to be with you today.